Global Elite. Every CSGO player's dream when they start the matchmaking process.
Oh, jag kom global! Jag menar det! Jag kom global!
It seems relatively simple at first, doesn't it? But then after countless hours of slogging it through the silver ranks, having to put up with screaming teammates and hackers on the enemy team, you start to slowly give up. Well, today we're going to be listing the 10 things that are keeping you from reaching that next rank in CSGO. My name is Brayden, and welcome to Valve Guides. This video was made possible by earnaskin.com, an awesome website where you can earn skins, crypto, PayPal money, and more by completing surveys and watching videos. If you want to support the people who support us, click the link in the description and start earning easy money today. Before we get into this list, I'm going to give you a few no-brainer tips that you should already be doing. If you have a 144Hz monitor, you need to have the Dash FREQ 144 launch option set. Make sure that you have customized your sensitivity and resolution to your liking, download a custom crosshair map, and choose a unique crosshair that suits you personally. In this video, I'm going to be mentioning the term ELO a lot. ELO is basically a level that determines the rank you get. You gain ELO for winning games and lose it for losing games. When reaching a specific ELO, you will become rank associated with the ELO level that you are at. Okay, now that that's out of the way, onto the list. Number 10, Prime. It's going to be extremely difficult to get to top ranks without having Prime status. Prime can be achieved by reaching level 21 or syncing your phone number, which can be used only on one account to your CSGO profile, and you have to have a paid copy of the game, which is $15. Prime basically gives you better quality gameplay than what you would have before. Players who want to cheat in Prime will get banned and have to get a new phone number, which just makes it harder for them to get into Prime. Not that they're not there. However, if you play with a friend who does not have Prime status, you will not be put into Prime matchmaking. Prime is an absolute necessity if you plan on taking the game seriously and are wanting to make your way up to the top. If you purchase the game before December 6th, you will still have your Prime status. But if you downloaded the game from December 6th and onwards, you will have to purchase it for a whopping $14.99. Not too bad. This isn't a big price to pay for smooth gameplay, and seriously, if you're wanting to get better at the game, this is something that you need to invest into. Number 9, you still haven't watched your replays yet. We get it, this tip is the most overstated tip in just about every video, but it's for a reason. There is no possible way to improve and break past a skill plateau if you don't know what you're doing wrong. If you're serious about getting better at anything, you need to watch and analyze what you're doing wrong first. Then create a game plan to reach that next level. CSGO is no different, and you should make it a point to have a dedicated day to watching demos of your average and below average games. Watching these demos will help you assess the bad habits that you have in the game, as well as help you figure out strategies that don't work for you. Once you do this, you need to make it a point to actually apply the knowledge that you've learned. Figure out what works and do that more, figure out what doesn't work and do it less. We get a lot of complaints from fans that say they watch their demos a lot but are not getting better. You won't get better just by watching. You need to take the steps to reverse those bad habits and replace them with new ones to progress. This means writing down what you're doing wrong and being very focused on practicing whatever that is. If you do this, you will get better and go to the next rank, we promise. Number 8, your mentality for improving is wrong.
And while the mindset is good, they don't bring with it all the other aspects of it. That mindset, that philosophy is the end stage. It's the verbal expression of an actual philosophy of their life, which took place in action, in small decisions that took place every day of their lives.
If you want to reach global, you've got to have a champion mindset. This means going into each game wanting to win and wanting to improve. You can do this in so many ways. Taking the in-game leader role when playing with randoms can help you keep the team spirit high, as well as helping you improve your game sense and overall team compatibility. You should also not be afraid to do what you want. If you believe you're a strong opper, then you should take that role. You might get hate from this by angry teammates if they're randoms. However, if you're going to win games by taking leadership, that's what matters. As you increase through the ranks, the mentality of other players will change too. The lower down the ranks you are, people are most likely going to be playing for fun, so you will need to alter the way that your mind is working, as enemies will be more predictable than a high-level player who actually knows what he's doing. This is a common problem in the lower ranks, which is why a lot of people can never make it past Master Guardian. You need to keep this mindset when you are losing games. Just because you are losing doesn't necessarily mean that you are a bad player. And if you're watching this video, you're most likely more dedicated than the people who are on your team just to have fun and mess around with friends. In other words, don't just go through the motions. Every time you launch, every time you join a comp game, you're going in with the intent to win. Every second in the game needs to be focused on winning and getting better, but more importantly, getting better over winning. Number 7, you tilt too hard. You're simply tilting too hard. Take a few deep breaths and reset your aim. As much as you want to win, you've got to remain calm. Being tilted will only lead to you playing worse and will damage the team play. Even pro players get tilted.
And Waylander, this is where you need to get your emotions a little bit under control, mate, because you're just charging in there.
However, they learn to control what they say to their teammates when they do. For example, screaming at your teammate who makes a little mistake will ruin team chemistry, but simply correcting him on his bad choice in a passive way will give you a good reputation. This will also improve the team's overall playability. To reduce your personal tilting, try to play with people who are calm. If they're calm and are having fun, you will find yourself probably in the same position. Another problem that tilting can cause is if you blame random people for your own mistakes. It's very easy to do this. If you die, don't blame it on your friend talking 20 seconds ago. I hear this a lot in CS matches, and even though footsteps do play a large role in the game, using someone talking whilst you're playing as an excuse for dying is something that I hear far too often. You should also remember that if you die and someone kills the player shortly after your death, this is called a trade and should not be complained about. You simply sacrifice yourself for your teammate to get the kill on the other player, and this can be very helpful in actually winning matches. Sometimes it has to be done. Number 6, you're focusing on too many things. When in a game, you don't need to focus on as many things as you think. I guarantee if you go back and watch a few of your games, you will notice yourself watching a position that your teammates were already watching. Fixing common mistakes like this by using your minimap can improve your skill level drastically. Your amount of kills do not matter. I cannot stress this enough. Just because you're bottom fragging does not mean you're the worst player on the team, and getting the most kills does not make you the best either. A lot of new players who want to improve will actually disable their scoreboard because they get distracted by focusing on who's getting the most kills rather than who's winning the game. All you need to do is focus on what your role in the team is. If you're an entry fragger, all you need to do is run in first and get as many opening kills as possible. Support players need to focus on helping the entry fragger with flashbangs and smokes. CSGO is a team game. There are 5 players on a team for a reason, and without each person doing as they're supposed to be doing, the game plan of winning will not function the way you want to. Make your objective in the game as simple and refined as possible. Remove any clutter. You should try to focus on your minimap more than anything else other than what you can actually see and hear. It can sometimes essentially be like having an ESP. If your teammate sees an enemy on their screen, a little red dot or question mark will appear on your minimap, allowing you to know the position of an enemy no matter what's actually in front of you or in your ears. It's a priceless tool. Number 5, your fundamentals are bad. If you're finding yourself stuck in Nova Hell, it might be because you haven't quite figured out the fundamentals of the game. Our videos are a great way to learn the basics and top tips of the game if you want to nail down your fundamentals. We have been hampering on this in a lot of videos, but a lot of new players will see a clip of someone like Nico doing something crazy on a stream and try to replicate it and fail miserably because they don't have thousands of hours in professional experience that a player like Stewie2K has. Take your time. If you're engaging in a gunfight, you should remain calm and focus on moving your crosshair to the player's head. You shouldn't be trying to do any fancy bunny hops or impressive flicks, and you should remain as close to a wall or cover as you can. Quickly tap the A and D keys. This is commonly called a jiggle peek, and it just shows the enemy that you are there and you know that they are there. This can sometimes bait an op, which you can then react to by swinging and getting the kill as he's cocking the rifle again. I see a lot of players thinking of smokes as walls, and they are not. They can be sprayed through, and sometimes if the game is being a bit wonky, they are transparent in areas that you wouldn't think so. So just because you're in the open with no cover but have a smoke behind you doesn't mean that you're not going to get knifed in the back. You always need to be aware. You will probably sometimes hear players call care short. This means that there is no one watching the short push, so that enemies could be there. Calls like these separate the good from the bad. Giving calls like these to your team will help them to allowing you as a unit to gain more rounds. You should always try to play for 1v1s. There is no point in taking a fight against 2 players at a time. If you're lucky, you might get a nutty spray and headshot 2 people, but the majority of the time you're just gonna kill one and get traded, and you didn't have to put yourself in that situation. Use your minimap when being pushed to see where the solo players are and pick them off one by one.
One spawn. I hit one upstairs. Ticket.
If you know you're about to get pushed by more than one enemy, then ask a teammate to rotate and help you at your position. Number 4, your strategies suck. You heard me. You fake B, I'll go A with bomb is one of the worst strategies that you can try, especially in higher ranks. You could get away with it in silver, but any enemy team with any experience at all knows unless the bomb is seen on sight, they shouldn't rotate. And this strategy is called at least once every game by a silver, and probably a lot more than that. If you haven't noticed this, I'm sorry to break it to to you, but you're most likely that guy. Stewie2K has some great tips for a variety of maps on his stream, and the clips were uploaded to YouTube. He's a great player to take advice from because he gives advice in a way that anyone can understand and comprehend. Try to take strategies you see from pro games too. If you're watching a league game, look at how the players are positioned and the grenades they throw. You can really impact a round just by throwing the right smoke, or suggesting that you eco a round because you have calculated the round loss bonus. But more importantly, take intentional time to study strategies on YouTube and practice them outside of comp matches before you bring them into the competitive games. Learning strategies such as be short split on Mirage and executes at a specific second of the round will help you win games and gain elo. Number 3, you haven't learned how to carry. If you expect to get out of lower ranks, you're gonna have to put a lot more effort than you probably want to into the game, especially if you're solo queuing. This means that you're going to have to rely on yourself to win games. Expect to play with players who have been boosted to their rank by friends, players who are purposely trying to D-rank, and players who are there to troll you. Because with all of these players in the mix, you're going to have to use your own expertise to carry yourself and win. This means checking literally every angle and corner in the map, as your teammates will most likely not be giving the due diligence and even paying attention to the calls that you have given out or giving you calls that you need. You'll need to constantly be thinking like the enemy, predicting their movements by grenades they throw and the time they take to push sites. If they throw a single smoke onto A with nothing else following, then it's most likely a fake smoke. So whilst your team is screaming at you to rotate, you need to rely on your own game sense and knowledge and know that they will probably be coming to B. When carrying yourself, it's vital, like mentioned previously, that you're taking one-on-ones. Simple is sometimes regarded as the carry of Navi, so watching his streams would be extremely helpful if you're finding yourself in this position regularly. Number 2, you don't know how to be clutch. Clutching is hard. The adrenaline's flowing, pressure is high, and everyone is relying on you, which is why you need to be as calm as possible and relax. Remember, you need to have fun, whether it's a 1v1, a 1v5. On paper, the tactics are always the same. For example, you're a CT retaking A site on Mirage. There's 3 enemies remaining. If you know the positions of all 3 enemies, it should be easy for you to pick them off one by one, and they will fall. They'll panic, and they will make more stupid mistakes than you will, and the round is yours. However, if you don't know their positions, then you can look for clues. Check where the bomb is planted. If it can only be seen from the CT spawn, then you know that at least one enemy is there. If it's planted default, they're most likely at Palace. You can bait out shots by shoulder peeking angles to get information. If they throw a grenade, try to see where the grenade is thrown from. If you're spraying at someone to get the kill and you only have 6 bullets left, don't reload. Instead, you're going to have to try to be extra crisp with your shots and go for one taps.
Mesmo assim, se é 4 plantada, vai ter que fazer todo o trabalho sozinho agora com a KNG no pré.
The enemy will be waiting for you and expecting you to reload and push you. Your minimap should be used as much as possible because sometimes your game will see an enemy that wasn't actually being looked at and then be recorded on the map. That's kind of useful. Little tips like these is what a lot of new players and even veterans forget when they're in a clutch situation. You have to be super intentional, take a second, and remember this. Number 1, you haven't put in the time. CSGO is an old game, so coming into it new is going to be extremely difficult. That does not mean that it's impossible though. Players already have tens of thousands of hours in the game, but it doesn't mean they're always going to be better than you. Sometimes coming in new presents advantages. It means that you won't have any of the bad habits that a lot of players already have, such as reloading too soon, shifting when not needed, and other things of this nature. Not to mention, if somebody has 3,000 hours in the game, but they didn't practice smart, they might as well only have 100 hours in the game. The average CSGO player has around 800 hours in the game, which sounds like a lot, but compared to high-level players, this is a mere fraction. Some professional players have almost 20,000 hours in the game. To get to Global Elite, you're gonna have to play well over 1,000 games, and that's if you play well. What separates Globals from the Master Guardians is patience. Some MG2 players could be better than a Global, but they just lack the dedication to actually achieve this prestigious rank. This is where you need to dedicate yourself, because once you reach that level, you can start to think about playing for competitive teams and entering tournaments, which you can start to earn money from. It's not going to be an easy journey, but with patience and tips from our videos, we believe you can make it. That just about does it for this video, guys. I hope you found these tips helpful, and eventually we hope to see you at the rank of Global Elite. If you know any handy tips or tricks that you think can help others reach Global, let us know in the comment section down below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for upcoming giveaways at BradenVG. You have a little slide at the bottom left because my name is difficult to spell because there's a lot of different ways to do it. Comment what you are most excited for E3 in the comment section below, because it's going on right now. I guess at the point this video comes out, most of it will already have passed, but the thing that you're most excited for after seeing E3, I guess. Very interested to see what all of y'all think of it, since Valve and CSGO isn't really involved with E3, so it's a little bit of a branch out. Thank you guys so much for sticking around until the end of the video. Stay amazing. My name is Braden, and I will see you in the next video.
No. But it's something I want you to know. That I love you.